Good evening, everyone. Welcome along to the SFC interviews. This is number 15 on the channel now. Here with James Ball. How you doing, James? You okay, mate?
Yeah, very good. Thanks, mate. Yeah, I'm good.
That's good. So hopefully we'll have a few people that join shortly and stuff like that. I don't know how long it's going to take them to, get notified that we're live and everything like that. It is going across Facebook and onto Twitter as well through the channel. So there will be a few that will link in and maybe put a few questions and comments in the little chat section there as well. But first of all, what made you join up with Stevenage in the first place? I know, I think it was Dino that was manager at the time, and he, was quite highly spoken of you from your time in non-league. So, what was the main reasons why you sort of signed up with Stevenage?
Well, I just saw it. I've obviously seen people in the past go to Stevenage from non-league, and I know it's a club that brings players in from non-league and moves them on. So I hope that it'd be the same for me. And like you said at the start, there was there was only positive things to say about it, and the manager at the time, and so it just seemed attractive. And for me, I saw it as a stepping stone for me to further my career. So they were the main reasons why I joined. Yeah, and obviously, if you look at the facilities they've got, it's probably the best in League 1 and 2. So there was a lot of reasons why I joined, but yeah, it just seemed like a good opportunity for me. It's too good to turn down.
And we've got a question already from Billy Bolton there. What was it like scoring on your Stevenage debut, and then also a few days later against Norwich in the Cup as well? What were those two games like? Yeah,
it was unbelievable. Obviously, you dream about scoring on your debut, don't you, for any club that you play for? So to do it in my first appearance in the Football League was it was great. Yeah, I remember it like it was yesterday. And I think it was a decent goal as well. And then obviously then the game came against Norwich, and all pre-season we were fortunate we had nice weather, so I was out practicing my free kicks all pre-season pretty much. So then when it came down to it, I think there was only one person who was going to take it. I think I always thought that was me, and I had a little feel of a few minutes before, and then we got another one, and I put that one right where I wanted it. So yeah, it was a great feeling. Obviously in the cup as well with the championship team there. I think they were.
They weren't Premier League. They were championship.
To score against opposition like that, it's always nice. So yeah, it was a good couple of weeks that was.
And then obviously, you mentioned there about the game, your debut. That was against Tranmere, wasn't it? So you drew with that game 2-2, and then you played a few times up front as well. One being Crawley in particular. I think you come on pretty early on for current gaffer Alex Ravel.
Yeah, he got injured early doors, and I remember the manager shouting on to me saying that, Paulie, I'm going to put you on up front. I thought, okay, I play quite far forward anyway as a midfielder, so I thought it can't be too different. And then, first goal was a header, wasn't it?
That's right. Yeah.
And then the second one, just I think Danny Newton had a shot and it just rebounded straight to me. But I was fortunate. But at the same time, you always get told, don't you, just follow things in, and I did, and I got 2 goals then. I think my record wasn't too bad, really. I can't remember what it was. I don't know. It was four goals or something like. But from a midfielder, it's not too bad. But
4 or 5 goals if you include the Norwich one, like the Cup one. I think it's 5. Yeah.
Yeah, 5 goals is not too bad at all, really, from midfield. So yeah, I seem to have a habit of being in the right place at the right time. I don't know what it is. I can't put my finger on it, but it's a good habit to have. So
that's right. And then you said that you were playing up front in that game against Crawley. But primarily you're an attacking midfielder. But then you didn't start out even as a midfielder or a striker at all. You started as a defender, didn't you, in your days at Bolton? So
yeah, I was a defender when I was young, and then I actually started as a striker. I started as a striker when I was young because I was always big, and then just a year or so before they started giving out contracts for scholarships, they put me back to centre back, and then I was there until I left Bolton, and then started play. I always wanted to play like a holding midfield role, so I started off there and just gradually this worked further forward again because, like I said, I score a few goals, so I've just found myself being put in a bit more of an attacking position. But I don't mind doing both. But at Stevenage, I was used more of as an attacking threat. Sometimes I wanted to drop a bit deeper, but it just wasn't what they wanted me to do. So
That's right. And then in that midfield, there were some, good players in that midfield. I think Timlin was in there, Joel was in there. There's a couple of other players in there. I can't remember who it was. They were all main sort of centre mids. But Timlin and Joel were the main ones, I think, and Moses, weren't they? Moses McCarthy as well.
Yeah, good friend of mine. Yeah, some really good footballers. Yeah, Joel and Tim's. I remember they were always a bit more defensive than I was, but good at what they did. So they kind of cemented them two positions.
That's right. And then, what was it like? Obviously, you played alongside Revs. So what was it like playing alongside Revs, and how do you think he's going to get on with Stevenage as a manager now?
I hope he does well. We're shooting nothing but good things. He was always a leader. He wore his heart on his sleeve, and when I was playing with him, and I'd imagine he'll do the same in management. He's a clever bloke as well, so I think he'll do well. Obviously, it depends what the situation is, with whether if they drop down or if they stay. But I think he'd do well at both levels, and he's got everything in place to do well. He's got like I said about the training ground before. Nice ground, good fans. If you can just get a decent team together, which I've been. I'm keeping an eye on who they've been signing and stuff. It looks
they've got, I think, 5 or 6 in already. Yeah.
Yeah, so it looks like it's all coming together nicely for him. So I hope he does well.
And obviously he's got his backroom staff as well, which they're all fairly experienced. Lenny Lawrence and Mark Sampson as well, and John Ashton's still there. So the whole backroom staff and is all kind of set up pretty nicely for supporting him as well.
Yeah, definitely. Like I said, a lot of experience, a lot of knowledge and stuff, and some good people. So yeah, I don't see any reason why they shouldn't do well.
And then so we've got so when you left the club after being placed on the transfer list at the end of that season, the first and only season you were there. Was it difficult leaving the club? And did you sort of have any sort of regrets about leaving, or was it kind of just something that the manager just said, well, it hasn't worked out for you, like it's probably best you move on, or what was it like?
I think it was just a case that I had to move on, for the sake of my career, probably, because I probably wasn't going to play as much as I wanted. So I had to go and start playing again, because I believe if when I get playing and I get in get a run of games, and I'll do well. So it was a case that I had to, for my own career, really, not for anyone else's sake. Obviously, I had chats with the management team and stuff, but from my own perspective, I wanted to just go and play some more games. So it was I had to just go and find a club that would let me do that.
And then you moved on to Ebbsfleet originally, wasn't it? Before you moved on after that to was it Solihull after that, or was it somebody in between?
Yeah. No, it was just Ebbsfleet to Solihull. Yeah.
Yeah. So was it kind of how come it didn't work out at Ebbsfleet? Was that just another?
For personal reasons, really.
Fair enough. Yeah.
It's a long way away. You'll obviously know where it is. It's a long way away, and I struggled with living so far away from home, and I spoke to the management team there at the time and just said, look, I want to get back up closer to home, which was always the plan. But then when Ebbsfleet came in, I decided to go there. But I knew almost straight away that I didn't want to. It was too far for me. And, so then I just got an offer from Solihull, and we sorted things out fairly quickly, and I was back up the road, and I'm now not too far from home, so it's nice. It's good.
That's good then. And then we've I think he said he's going to be back in a minute. He wanted to ask some questions. I don't know where he's had to disappear off to or whatever, but he should be there in a minute. So what are your thoughts on sort of the games being played behind closed doors at the minute? The Premier League, Championship, FA Cup, and all of that.
I don't. Obviously, they don't really have a choice today, but it's so much better with the fans. Like I don't know whether the players. I've not obviously done it myself. I've not played behind closed doors, but I can see that the fans make more of a difference than you think when you're playing a game. You know, like either on your back or supporting you. So I'm sure players themselves. I know I'm definitely one of them who can't wait for fans to be back in the stadiums, and hopefully it's sooner rather than later.
And then, yeah, so you said you haven't played any behind closed doors. Is it? Do you think it'll be a bit like playing behind closed doors friendlies, or friendlies at the training ground? Do you think the atmosphere is a bit similar to that, or?
Yeah, definitely. But obviously, when there's the games that have been played are pretty important games, so
Yeah.
sometimes you don't need any motivation. You know, if you're playing in a playoff, or if you're playing in the Premier League, or if you're playing in an FA Cup game, you don't need the motivation. It just comes naturally. So I think it would be kind of like playing a preseason game, but obviously there's a lot more pressure on them. So
Okay, and then just going back to the whole situation with Stevenage as well. At the minute, obviously they don't really know if they're going to be playing League Two next season or conference, or what are your thoughts on everything that's going to happen there?
I don't really know too much about it, to be honest. I know obviously one team's going down, but I don't know what the situation is with Macclesfield. I don't know much about it, so I don't really want to comment on it because I don't.
No, that's fine.
I'm not really sure what's going on, so I don't want to say something and be completely wrong. So yeah, like I'm not sure about that one.
That's fine. So going back to when you were playing at Stevenage, you were playing alongside Steve Seddon and Ronnie. So what were they like? Obviously, Ronnie in particular. Ronnie is now a massive, club legend. He's gone on and he's working with the club's part of the academy and stuff as well. So what was it like playing in that team with Ron and obviously Steve and Scotty Cuthbert and Farms and everyone like that?
Yeah, it was great. It was Ronnie. Ronnie was. It was a pleasure to play with because he was just a genuinely nice guy. And he looked after the players as well. If there was any issues or anything, he'd step up and do what captains should do and speak on our behalf sometimes. So it was great playing with him, and it was a really talented bunch of players for that season. We had people who weren't perhaps in the team who I thought were good enough to be in the team. So my point being is that the depth in the squad was good as well. So yeah, it was a good team to play in, definitely.
Dan, he's saying about Chelsea here. What's your thoughts on Chelsea for next season and their signing of Timo Werner?
Yeah, Chelsea will be good next year, definitely. I look forward to it. I think Frank Lampard's done a good job considering it's his first big job. I look forward to watching them because they've been hit and miss, haven't they, since the season started again. But
yeah, well they've got a cup
really
final
good
to
attacking
look
threat.
forward to.
Yeah.
No, I was just saying they've got the FA Cup final to look forward to and stuff as well. So Frank has clearly got him. He's got his mentality and sort of his own stamp on that squad now, and it's like whatever happens with this FA Cup, they're in the European competition next season as well. So it's still been a decent season, and obviously that's a season without being able to spend or invest in the playing squad in terms of transfers. And now he's able to get that. Then I think they'll be up there, and I think they'll be challenging with the likes of Liverpool and City next season.
Yeah, I agree.
Dan's just said, would you ever return to Stevenage, either coaching or playing, or as a on the backroom staff or anything in the future?
I don't know. I'd probably say. Well, I'd imagine no, but not. Not due to any reason of not enjoying my time there. Just for a few reasons, probably not.
Fair enough. So, what are your thoughts on the club that the work have done in the community? Obviously, with the whole COVID and the lockdown and stuff, there was people out delivering sandwiches pretty, rapidly, but pretty much every day, from players to the management staff to people that are working with the club to fans to everyone was involved in that. So, what were your thoughts on the club sort of rallying around and helping out the community during their sort of time of need? Hello, Jay. Did you hear that last one? Did you catch that last one, Jay?
Yeah, I've seen quite a lot of that on social media about what they were doing. Sorry, mate. I think I don't know. One of our connections went then, but I've seen what they were doing in the community, and it looked like a great thing to be part of, and I think they're doing everything they can to build a good fan base, and I think that'll be successful. Because it is a real community club and one for the Stevenage people to get involved in. So it looked great, yeah, and they should be proud of themselves for that.
And then obviously, did you sort of follow anything towards the end of last season with the whole Stevenage for League Football? Did you see that campaign going around on social media? And if you did, what were your thoughts on that and the fans sort of giving back and trying to support their the sort of players and everyone in terms of their own little hashtag and trying to get some momentum going forward?
Yeah, I saw bits and bobs. Obviously, I've been focusing on what I'm doing, but I've seen bits and bobs about it, and the fans were always great, to be honest with you. There's a good support. They might not have the most fans in the country, but
yeah,
the fans that they do have are good people and support the club well. So it doesn't really surprise me, to be honest.
Billy's just said, "How was your holiday? The Insta story looked mad."
It was good, mate. Yeah, thank you. Really good.
It did look pretty good, actually. You could see it on the Insta. I was following that and keeping an eye across that, and it looked like you had a good time. There's a few lads out there, and I'm sure that was something that you were just glad to be able to get away. And we were talking about it off stream for a minute, and it's just nice to get a bit of a break.
Yeah, definitely. I think, like I said before, it was just nice just to get away for a little while, and hit the reset button and then come back ready for the season.
That's right, yeah. So what are your thoughts on sort of, the likes of Darren Soul? Obviously, he's been involved at the club and he's now at Yeovil. How do you think he'll get on with Yeovil next season? Obviously, they just missed out. They lost to Barnet, didn't they, the weekend? But how do you think he'll do with that Yeovil side?
I've played against them and they were a good, a good setup. Obviously, I didn't know him at Stevenage. Obviously, he left just before I came, but
yeah.
He seems to be doing a good job down there, and I can't comment too much because I don't know too much about them. But the times I played against them, they were decent. So, I think they've got every chance of going up. But like with any league, the playoffs is just a bit of a lottery, isn't it? Anyone can win it. So, I guess time will tell, and we'll see this weekend.
That's right, yeah, because it is this weekend that they've got the next game, isn't it? Yeah, the Barnet game and all of that. Yeah. No, excuse me. So. What's your sort of your best or favourite moments from your time at Stevenage?
I probably have to say the goal against Norwich and the goal in my debut, like we've already spoken about.
Yeah.
I don't think many things top a goal in your debut and then scoring against a championship team, and it was a pretty decent goal as well. So, yeah, probably them two were probably my highlights.
And then, you said about before, in terms of the free kicks and stuff, were you always sort of a free kick specialist? Were you always, did you look up to anyone that was, kind of big into taking the free kicks, like, the likes of Beckham or anyone like that?
I always fancied myself of being good at free kicks. It was just, clubs previously, they already had people who kind of had that position locked down. But this time, when I got to Stevenage, I think the lads could see in training that, I've been working on them and they were coming off. So it just kind of, that kind of role just kind of assigned itself to me without too much question.
That's right. And it paid dividends as well. There was a couple of free kicks in there out of the goals that you scored. And, they were, very well executed goals and free kicks that, were taken very, very well. And, it's kind of, it paid dividends, and it was kind of the right reason behind you taking the free kick, because obviously there were nice finishes in the end.
Yeah, that's it. If you put the work in on the training ground, and hopefully you get the you get the rewards. Unfortunately, I did. So
yeah, that's right. Yeah. Who was the best Stevenage youngster that you came across, and what was the difference? I don't know what he means by that. Like in terms of, I don't know. What's that last part of that question, Dan? If you can rephrase that or add to it. But first of all, who was the best Stevenage youngster that you came across?
The best youngster. There was a lot of like what your class as a youngster, probably someone under the age of about 21, I'd imagine.
Yeah.
Andronicus was a good player. He didn't really get the opportunities. He was a good player. He was young. I think he was only about 18.
Mm-hmm.
He was a tidy footballer. TVC was a really good player. I think he's probably about 21 as well. He was a good, and again, he didn't maybe get the opportunities early doors in the season, but then when he did play, he obviously did well, and then went off with the international team and did well again. So, I just think it goes to show that if you do put faith in youth, eventually, it'll pay off, and with him it did. And don't get me wrong, there was a few. There was, Arthur was there as well, and he did well.
Yeah, because Arthur won the young player. Was it 2 seasons in a row? Yeah.
Yeah. Like I said, he was a good footballer, and I'd imagine he'll do well. I don't know what his situation is and how long he's there for, but if he keeps going,
I think Arthur's staying on. Andronicus has left, and obviously the likes of Kenneth has left as well now. But and TVC staying as well. So there's a few that are still going to be there for the next season, no matter whether they're conference or whether they get a reprieve and get put back into League Two.
Yeah, well, whatever that situation is, I'm not sure. But yeah, like I said, there was a few good youngsters there, just given the chance. Hopefully they can do well.
And then he means as in difference that made them stand out more to them in standard or in quality. Is basically what he was saying.
I don't know the difference. Some people are just naturally good footballers, and other people have to work on it. But at that age, it's more of a thing about them just having experience rather than actual quality. If they get given game time and stuff, then they'll improve no end. So like I just said just then, if hopefully they get given a chance and take the chance when it comes.
And then who's your best player that you played against and also with in terms of your career? That can be from anyone, whether it's from your youth team or all the way through to where you're playing now. So,
God, there's a few, to be honest. Obviously, when we was at Stevenage, we had Ilias in on loan, and he was some player. He was some player. So he's probably the best from that group, I'd say.
But yeah, Ilias was, he was outstanding when he was the kind of player that could just change any game. If you look at who was it? We were 2-0 down against Lincoln, and he come on and he scored those 2 cracking goals, and then he could have had 5 on that day.
Yeah. Well, I come off the bench as well. It's 2-0 and I came off the bench, so just get that one in there.
Fair enough.
I'm only winding you up. No, yeah, he was definitely. You can see now when he's playing in the Championship, and he deserves it. He was a great player.
And thoughts on Ben Wilmot as well. Obviously, he was at Stevenage a couple of years ago.
Again, I don't know too much about him because obviously I wasn't there. So
yeah,
I don't know too much about him. But obviously he got a great move, didn't he? I don't know. I guess time will tell again with him. I don't know him personally, so I can't say too much. But
no, that's fine. Yeah. But then with with Ilias again, I can't stop raving about Ilias. The guy was just different class, wasn't he? Like, what was he like to sort of train with and stuff?
He was the same in training as he was in games. Sharp, good on the ball. Good lad, and yeah, it doesn't surprise me to see him doing well in the Championship.
Yeah, and I'm sure he'll go on and he'll kick on in terms of getting more minutes for the national team over in Morocco in it as well, and he'll go on and he'll do really well with QPR, and whether that's sort of challenging for promotion to the Premier League, because he could be a Premier League player easily, can't he?
Yeah, there's nothing to stop him. He's young as well, so if he keeps improving and stuff, he I don't see why not.
So we haven't got any more questions in terms of on the chat there. So you mentioned briefly earlier about the transfer business that the club have done. Did you know much about any of the players that they signed? Whether the 5 or 6 signings? Do you know much about them from obviously you playing?
I know Elliot Osborne from my time at Stockport. He's a good footballer. Technically a good footballer and a good lad as well. So I can imagine he'll go on and do well. The other ones, I'm not too sure about them. I don't know where they've come from.
Innie from Dover, Innie Effiong. Apparently he was on trial with the club a few years back.
Yeah, good player for the. He was a good player in the conference. Obviously, if they're in the conference, it'll be a good signing. If they're in League Two, I'd imagine they'll still do well. But again, I don't know too much about the other guys. So, I don't know. Hopefully they do well, but I don't know.
That's fair enough. And we'll probably start to wrap it up in a minute, in fact. So the last sort of questions I've got on here, did you have any sort of pre or post match routines that you'd kind of use or go to, and sort of superstitions and things like that as well?
Not particularly. I wouldn't say I have too many superstitions. Pretty much rituals with regards to like I'd always eat the same day before and stuff like that. But that's about it. That would just be more of a preparation thing to make sure I know that I've done everything right. But there's lads who had different ones, but I wouldn't say I have a pretty much ritual, to be honest.
Fair enough.
Yeah. I'm just saying I don't think I have anything that of any interest anyway.
And then Dan's just put, do you think there's anyone in the world better than Kevin De Bruyne at the moment?
Yeah, Messi, but I don't think there's anyone better than Messi. I don't think Messi and Ronaldo, both of them. Obviously, De Bruyne's a ridiculously good player. Probably midfielder wise, there's probably no one better. No, but I don't think you can put anyone ahead of Messi, unfortunately.
No, Messi's just excellent. Just a different level kind of player. And KDB is obviously probably the best in the Premier League by some distance. Probably you can include Mane and Salah and stuff in there as well. But yeah, Messi and Ronaldo have to be in that bracket, and Kylian Mbappe and a couple of others as well. Yeah,
for sure.
All right, mate. So I think we're probably done. So all right, thanks for your time, mate. And we'll speak to you again soon on socials and stuff. And good luck with Solihull for the rest of the season.
Problem, mate.
When you're back and up and running, and hopefully you can achieve the aims that you need to with them to go on in the next season.
Hopefully, and might see you all next season. We'll have to see.
All right, mate. Take care.
All right, mate.
Cheers, Jay. Thanks, man. See you later, mate. Cheers, man.